Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hey. Hallelujah. Giving. Hallelujah. The highest praise. Hallelujah. Give him the highest praise. Hallelujah. Give me the highest praise. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up, I will lift up my voice to heaven and give you the highest praise. Hallelujah to my King. Hallelujah to my Father. Hallelujah to my Jesus. I bow before the throne when I look at all the wonder and I see all the creation. Good morning, folks. Welcome. I'm Francis Z. And so today is Sunday. This is an informative news magazine. Freedom Watch comes away every Sunday right here from the Diaspora Informative News Network, Liberia Public Radio, right here from the New England Bureau. Hallelujah! 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 Hey, hey. Hallelujah! Hey. Giving, hallelujah, giving the highest praise, hallelujah, giving the highest praise, hallelujah, giving the highest praise. All right, whatever it is, hallelujah, giving the higher praise. We want to welcome all of our viewers and listeners across the globe. Well, as a friend brought out, there's no way I've made that known here. There's the late Senator and former Public Works Minister of the Republic of Liberia, Mambutu Vlad Nyimpa, the late Mambutu Vlad Nyimpa. Malta to arrive in the nation's capital to recently. Liberia Public Radio, also crew was on the scene. Mambutu and I, we came a very, very long way. He's one of my mentors. As a matter of fact, we're going to be having a special type program here to memorializing. We are hearing now from sources close. I can say, vehemently say, I'm one of the family. Mambutu and I slept in the same room for over 7 years. At the time, he was in the Vanguard at the University of Liberia. When he graduated from Bishop Julie High School and moved to Monrovia to Stephen Tobot Estate. That's how far we have come. And since then, we've been on course, political differences, and he does respect that up to his demise. But let's see here. So we're going to give you a little bit gist here. The things he was an engineer by profession, and he's a lawyer, right? So, and when he was tapped by the CDC-led government, he did everything possibly he can to enhance the pro-poor agenda of the Republic of Liberia. But the September 3rd, there was a change in his life story, which today, he had no opportunity to tell us the narrative, what exactly happens, how it happens, and what went wrong. I know Mambutu, very strong, healthy man. He doesn't smoke, that I know for sure. But things happen. But I wish he had the opportunity to live, to tell the story to what has actually transpired. All right, let's see here. Courtesy of a sister network in Liberia, of the listening to some of the work here. Let's see here. We're going to play this here.
So we're praying God, let it finish. Now they play where I say I'm happy. I'm going to tell my own people and say, yeah, let's pray. We're coming to finish now. I also coming to finish. So I'm going to tell them.
The tour of the ongoing project at the Timber River Bridge by the government was greeted with appreciation by passengers and residents in the area. Giving a brief history about government's intervention of the Timber River Bridge project was Public Works Minister Mambutu Nyimpa.
You will recall that in 2017, the government of Liberia signed a contract with Jupiter Construction Company for the replacement of 3 important bridges that have aged significantly along the route between Grand Bassa and the Southeast. Today, we are very pleased that we have come and we have seen progress, significant progress, that has been made on the first of the 3 Bailey bridges that are targeted for replacement. Where we are right now is the Timber River Bridge. This river is the boundary between Grand Bassa County and Riverside County. And over the years, the Bailey Bridge that was here has been experiencing a lot of problems, structural problems, etc., etc. And so the government made a determination that we would change this Bailey Bridge. And so upon the inception of this new administration, we reactivated the contract, which was signed in 2017. And upon the reactivation of the contract, we made some payments. And as a consequence of those payments, today we've come to see a brand new Bailey Bridge over the Timor River Bridge. And we'd like to first say thank God. Thank God for this important development. We'd like to thank His Excellency the President for his commitment to infrastructure development in our country. We want to thank our contractors. They've done so well. Our contractors, the team of engineers, the team of technicians, and a team of ordinary workers, 100% Liberians. I think this is good news for our country. And so we've come today. You will recall also that 3 months ago, the contractor started work on this project. In earnest, 3 months ago. In fact, we'll say technically 2 months, 2 weeks ago. Today, if you look at the work that has been done, you were...
Well, unbelievable. That's brother and friend Mambutu Lnp, the former sitting senator of Sano County, Republic of Liberia, from the southeastern side. Mambutu, he was those that had the opportunity to get in contact. We're going to bring some folks here at some point in time that really knew who he was, his associations, articulation, very smart, bright gentleman. Involved in multitudes of roles. He formerly served as the Deputy Managing Director at the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, former Technical Managing Director at the Liberia Water and Seawater Company. You found out that his accelerations in life, in his professional career, was a graduate process to get him to be where he is, a former active student leader. He was, in fact, a leader of same. And I can remember all what I'm doing today. There are a few people, Mambutu Lnp, Amos Clay Talley, Jerry's Body in Canada, Kai Jerowale, Minister Kai Jerowale. These people that I really hang up with, they were the one that are able to help me, to give me that sense of direction. I said this before, from junior high school, when I became a valedictorian, during my speech, man, this is what the people say. He said, what you have to tell me what you want to write, and you have to put it down, and we can reconstruct, and we can really put it into work. I want it to be your own, to work, your own idea, and we can build on that. And I was talking about 1984, 83 at this in Ghana'sville, Stephen Tower Estate. Mambutu was nowhere. He was not a minister by then. He himself was a student at the University of Liberia. After graduation from Bishop Jolie High School, moved to Monrovia. He came a long way. He worked his way out to reach to be a young man at the age of 54. Sometimes it makes it very difficult to ask why, you know. But during the week here, it was a different feelings. It was a different sense of directions. It was unbelievable. It happens on the 3rd of September. What appears to be stroke, according to what we are hearing. We yet to confirm the authenticity. I hope to get access to the medical report. That would be good. He collapsed. He was taken to the JFK Medical Hospital. Later on, the government of Liberia facilitated his trip to neighboring Ghana to help to tackle the grave medical concern. Pretty close to after 2 months, it didn't work out I believe, which the late minister anticipated. During the weekend, mourners, government officials, families, and those who had the opportunity to know Mambutu Nyimpa unbelievable saint afforded outside the nation's capital at the Roberts International Airport. Liberia Public Radio crew was also there to receive the mortar of the late Senator of Sano County, the late Public Works Minister of the Republic of Liberia, Mambutu.
Okay. Trying to one look at another shop. What was the right minister arrived here Rivals International Airport. Liberia Public Radio Live is sorry for the breaking due to some technical hiccup, but however we're back with the continuation of the broadcast here from the Rivers International Airport. Due to some power outage, we were several officials of government here. So, the airfield is now national provider.
So if you're watching on Spoon TV Live, we give live coverage of and then the Undertaker.
What a side event. Wow. What a short life that we all find ourselves in, and anything can happen anytime. Mbutu, he's not a quiet guy. That's for sure that I know. Somebody that I hang out with for over 7 years. To see him, it means he's been overpowered. What? I'm Alfonso Z, and so we will do everything possible to bring you up to speed. Talking to family sources this morning, potentially at the end of this month, it will be official. The late Nyimpanta will be laid to rest. My prayers and thought goes out to his family, his immediate brother, Kasa Ojuku, son Mabutu Vlad Nyimpan Jr., City Queen right here in the USA, smart little girl right here at Temple University. So the other little sister coming down to the plane, escorting your brother's body. That's a tough one. Well, that's the situation we find ourselves in. Hopefully that we will overcome this as a nation and as a people. I am Alfonso Z, and so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv, where we anticipate having Mr. Moses Carter, who happens to be the Deputy Police Chief for Operation for Public Affairs at the Liberian National Police, to talk on a wide range of issues. We're yet to see him. This program anticipated starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Up to press time, we are not getting anything. Notwithstanding, that's not going to deter us from having this program here. I have our regular contributors, Professor Asis Zawolo, is standing by in Maryland, Baltimore area near the capital of Washington, D.C. He will be here with me as we try to dive through this here and talk on some of those painful issues and what is unfolding in Liberia. Stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay, welcome. Let me see here if I can bring in the professor. Professor Zawolo is standing by now. Let me just bring you in, Professor. It was not on purpose to keep you waiting, but we also have to do everything possible we can to set the stage. Here we go. The professor is standing by. Professor Ase Talabot Zawolo is our regular contributors, and we always accept the sending views of different contests here, always here. Professor, good afternoon, and how are you this Sunday?
I'm doing fine, Mr. So. Thanks for having me again.
Okay, well, let's start from our own here. We got to go inside Liberia. What do you make of the process so far?
In the United States?
In the United States, the guy who considers himself Kobe, he seems to be out of the radar, but he's still being here out of Pennsylvania Avenue. What the heck going on?
Well, I think the good thing about the American society is that the political system is strong. It has been tested, and it has never failed and will not fail. There was an elections. A new president was elected, and we can just wait for what, January 21st? And we have a new president in the White House. President Trump has all rights to challenge the results. That's his right. He can take the case to court and delay as long as he wants to delay. But I can assure you that on the 21st of January, the new president will be sworn in. There's no evidence. The data don't back his claims about fraudulent elections. No, it doesn't back it.
Interestingly, I haven't seen anywhere on planet Earth, probably you are the prof, you on top of things, guys. I haven't seen the election result being reversed. Okay, this guy has been declared winner. In fact, you don't go by to have this here. In fact, you are not. What is going on? See all that is happening. In fact, interestingly, strong allies of this country, right? Johnsons and all of those folks, they are sending a congratulatory messages now to President like Joe Biden. That could be a strong message.
Yeah, look, there's something they call the mathematics of election reversal. So when we analyze the statistics, the likelihood of an election being reversed, with the number of votes that the difference in the number of votes, the likelihood of a reversal of the result is so small, it's infinitesimally small that you can say it's basically zero. So there's no chance for that election results to be reversed. If you are talking about a disparity of 8 votes, 4 votes, 5 votes, even at that, the likelihood is small. So you're talking about thousands of votes. that's almost impossible. That's impossible. That's very, very, very impossible.
Well, so is he in a fantasy land or what?
It's Donald Trump. One of the things that I had the chance to do during this whole pandemic break was to read books, and so I stumbled on the book written by Mary Trump, his niece. It was very interesting. Donald Trump, he suffered from an undiagnosed case of he has a multiple diagnosis. The only problem is that according to her in her book, Donald Trump would not sit down for a full battery of tests. But if you were to sit down for a full battery of tests, it would be revealed that he has multiple diagnoses when it comes to his psychiatric and psychological health. It is not a joke. It's not an insult. It is a reality.
Yeah, welcome our contributor, Amos Joy. As a matter of fact, that's a very interesting book. I'm waiting to lay hand on it this week here. It seems to me the chronicles, what is outlined based on the little synopsis that I've got, that seems to be coming to light, because this is very unusual. It is abnormal to see what is happening in the godfather for democracy, sitting president, to say, monitors on cable wire, even Associated Press reporting too, that his wife is the one that counseling him now, talking to him to concede. That's amazing.
But that's what he wants. He wants to have a way out. He wants it to be that people encourage him to bow out. So just take it. I mean, after a month or two, he'll be telling people that, he didn't lose the elections. It was taken from him, and people basically, begged him to bow out. That's what he wants. He wants their attention. He's a narcissist. He's a self-centered person. His ego is very high. And that's what he wants. He wants their attention. He wants to take away from President-elect Biden.
Yeah, and I think he's very good and successful at manipulating the media industry. Believe me, he will go. I'm one of those. I'm not his fan because of his behavior, his bigotry, his bitterness and resentment. But people, folks in the media industry will messy. Let me bring in Amos George here. Pa George, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. It's Atlanta, Georgia. The jubilation seems to engulf the entire nation, and even outside of this country, because the elephants in the room is being, the tower is crumbling big time. I'm not sure whether you're going to go to New York or you're going to go to Mar-a-Lago in Florida, where his accommodation going to be when he leaves Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Professor Zawo. First thing.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mr. Trump is someone who doesn't take defeat. And what happened, he anticipated something. So you saw from the other side, he started on a vote will be rigged. They will rig the vote. They will do this. That's the premise he was laying for failure. So when it come out, then he will say, oh, I said it before. This is what the people had done. So he preempted this thing, and so he go ahead to make this statement to tell his supporters. He told his supporters not to vote by May. That's why he said he doesn't believe in it. Why the Democrats were urging the supporters to vote by in May. Look what happened. Everywhere Donald Trump won, he doesn't complain about recount in those areas. He doesn't complain. Area that he's losing, that's why he complained. Then he said, oh, they must stop the vote. Then some people say, well, if they stop the vote, that means Joe Biden already won. This man behaved like a moron. This man is an older man, but he behaved like a late child. And this man, furthermore, Donald Trump is a dictator. This man was carrying this country over the cliff. This man was carrying the country over the cliff. This is what Donald Trump was doing. Everybody in Europe, the Europeans were all now afraid. What will happen the next 4 years of Donald Trump rule in America? See, this man pour America almost out of the international organization, the World Health Organization, the Climate Accord, the European, everything. He took America out of it. And America has been playing a major role in the organization to the world. What Mr. Trump did, pour America out of all the organization. NATO, get NATO out. Who was he cushioning? Vladimir Putin, North Korea leader. These are his friends. So you can see the man friendship. You can see the people that he friended. You will determine the kind of leader that is going to have. But thank God that the American system, the election is so strong. The election is so strong. The system is so strong that one man cannot just bend it. This was another test for the system for democracy in America, because he was asking people to stop the vote. And he himself know that he doesn't have the power. The federal government does not have control over the election in America. It's decided by states, from state to state. So if this man believes in democracy, why he would tell states to stop the election, to start counting vote?
It was not working in his favor. He's very calculated. He's very manipulative. He's almost like a soothsayer. He forecasts what's going to happen. So those are the kind of narrative he dives into, and he's very good at getting the attention of the media. He has been very successful. He's very tight. You saw what he did in the primary before even becoming president. He put down, he trashed all of his Republican counterpart. And potentially he took over the Ronald Reagan party to the extent that all of them was very much submission to his ideology. Nobody could really stand up to him. I've been listening to commentary. Folks, this is very much important. We are here. We got to make sure that things okay here before we even talk about Liberia, because most of our Liberian brothers and sisters are also congressmen, local leaders elected. We say congratulations to them. That's what we're supposed to be doing. You see the Hispanic community are involved. It's not out of the sudden. They are involved into the politics. But, when time comes to get things done, then we'll go and do doubles and triples. We don't want to volunteer and all of that, but we just complain. Professor, this is quite interesting. This is news here. This is a news alert that I'm receiving here from the Associated Press, which is the giant cable wire. Now they are reporting President-elect Joe Biden has named former Surgeon General Dr. Verrett Mosquito and the former Food and Drug Administration Commissioner David Cosgrove as co-chair. His whole campaign has been the fight of this virus, which it said was very, very much because if the virus is ongoing, we can see the economy of this country. Get to the top of here. Now he had named these people here. This is a strong signal that the Biden-Harris administration will aggressively move forward, regardless of what this guy is doing in the bungo on Pennsylvania Avenue. I think he's just interested now. He's figuring out how to get out of that place.
Mm-hmm. Well, the basic thing here is that the Biden-Harris ticket has consistently, argued for decisions relating to this whole pandemic to be controlled by science and the facts. So basically, by naming of this committee, which he promised, I think a 12-man committee, mm-hmm. we should see a shift in the management of this whole pandemic. We should see a better collaboration and cooperation between the doctors, Dr. Redfield of the CDC, Dr. Fauci of the Center for Infectious Disease, and the other agencies that are working, to combat this thing. What transpired during the Trump administration was there was a disconnect between the traditional organization, institutions set up by the U.S. government to manage these kind of things, and the Trump leadership and some of the other people who he relied on, like for example the doctor from Nigeria. I think you saw that disgraceful one. Yeah. He was quoting her.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so I see a shift, and I think that shift is going to help. Look, science controls everything, and I'm sure maybe today on your show we're going to address some of those issues. Societies that thrive in myth tend to be behind in development and progress. And that's what Trump was driving this country into the line of conspiracy theories, myth about everything. Coronavirus is serious. And what is important is not where it necessarily came from, but how can we defeat it? We obviously know that it came from Wuhan, China, but that's it. Our focus should now be on how can we combat it. And I don't think the Trump-led administration had a plan in place to combat it. there was a disconnect between the messaging from the scientific community and his administration on simple thing like wearing of masks. You know, even if you doubt it that it has an effect, the fact that you wear it, and if at the end of the day your disbelief is was right, but at the end of the day lives are saved, that there could not even be consensus on something basic like wearing of masks. You know,
his chief of staff, not to interrupt you, his chief of staff is already infected.
Yeah. So more people are infected. Yeah. In fact, what I heard was that the number of people in the White House that were affected were not actually publicized. The total number of people. There were some other lower-ranking people within the White House who got infected also, and it's all because of this cavalier approach to the virus. That, you know, we won't wear masks, we won't be careful. And so now we're reeling from the effects of this thing. And so I think the oracles have spoken. We now have a better leadership, you know, that can be able to tackle this thing. And so let's hope and see what's going to happen.
Okay. What am I hearing? That's a phone. Okay. Pa Joyce?
Yeah. You know, let me just add on to what the professor has said. Donald Trump knew from day one. He was informed how dangerous is the virus. He failed to inform us, that is the American people. He failed to inform us, to tell us the danger of this virus. That if you are informed the country, that would have put people in a better position. But instead, they decide to play games with people's lives. And then the mistrust start coming. Messaging. This man get us saying he cannot trust Dr. Fauci. Can you imagine that? He cannot trust Dr. Fauci. Then he goes to say the doctor wants to make profit off the back of the people with this virus. And you're talking about people's lives. This is the president of the United States speaking like that. This man got a follower of 70 million people. And when he said that, those people believe it, which is very dangerous for the country. Just to wear common mask. He said, no, it's not nothing. People should go about doing the normal businesses. And this economy would not move forward as long as this virus is lingering around. So what the president-elect did, in fact, God said that during the campaign, he started working with a group of people, consulting them, putting the pieces together to see how they could tackle this virus. So yesterday when he made that pronouncement, they had already been talking with the people. The people had, gathered together to see how they can come up with a solution to this issue. That's how a leader behaves. But when the leaders stand and say, oh, these people don't know what they're talking about, the doctors don't know what they're talking about, you're talking about science. You cannot live in a world in the absence of science. Okay. Everything it has to be based on science. Science taking into consideration the experts involved, the advice and things they will give, that the government can use that as a policy to relate to the people. But if the president don't believe in the scientists, he's sending out messages out there, mixed messages. You get the public to be confused. Then the public don't know who to trust, because now you are undermining the scientists. Because they say, hey, the president say, who am I to believe what the doctor is saying? No. He went into the hospital, he caught the virus, he went to the hospital. He saw how he was treated. Someone like me cannot get that treatment. Someone like you cannot get that treatment. But it was at the back of the American people, taxpayer money. It's our money that treated him. But someone in the hospital would not get that kind of treatment.
With 12 doctors, 12 doctors were all surrounding him. Those that are giving the IV and those that are doing other things, they were all there. I don't know how many doctors can attend to you when you go out there, unless in an extreme emergency, maybe 3 or 4, but 12, that was, anyway, that's part of his privileges as the sitting president of the United States of America. Well, folks, welcome. Our guest, Moses Carter, here to show out, even though there was a time set, we all came to a time in the line that you're going to be here, but notwithstanding, we are here to do what with the community wants us to do. Okay, let's see here. I think there's a clash of tartan is about to be created because we want to transition to our own motherland, Liberia. And I know Amos George are going to start like firing up. And I know the professor is also equivalent to return strategic fire as well. Okay, so gentlemen, let's transition to Liberia. Okay, let us transition to Liberia. 2020 senatorial race. But first of all, let's talk about here. Why do you know the late Minister Nyepan, Professor?
Yeah, classmate, friend, brother. We were both at the University of Liberia, both work as organizing members of the student integration movement. He was from the Science College. I was also from the Science College. And we did a whole lot together. We were in the hierarchy of SIM. You know, we were part of those people with, like you named earlier, Kajero, William, Ruth William, Sandra Wayne, the late faculty, Mabudu Yimpan, Louis Brown, and the rest of those guys, the late Theophilus Betty. We were the backbone of SIM. And we did a whole lot of things together. Mabudu and I also worked together at Liberian Water and Seawork Corporation.
Oh yeah.
And yes, when I was an engineer there, he was my boss. He was the deputy managing director of technical services, working in the same department. And when I came back from the former USSR, when I returned to Liberia from the former USSR, he was the first person who bought me a bottle of beer, the first friend to buy me a bottle of beer. He met me on Lane Street. And I just got to the shop, and he was sitting with some friends. At that time, he was working for the city hall.
Yes. Yeah, I got to mention about city hall too. Yes, you're right.
He was the one who recognized me and ran to me and lifted me up, and you know, told me to sit down and get a bottle of beer. And then in 2018, we met in the president's office again. He was kind of like shocked to come in, and he met me in there, and the way he greeted me, everybody was like, "Oh, where do you know this guy from?" And then he went on telling all the stories about our time in college and our time also at Water and Sewer. And you know, not long ago we talked. There were some plans I had to go to Liberia, and he assured me that once I get there, that those things that I earmarked, he was going to work. He was going to make sure that those things were made available for me. So he's a friend and a brother. We had our own, you know, politicians. We disagree at times. We all came from the same UPP roots. So all of that, there's so many things that we share in common. Just so many things. We ate together. We drank together. We planned, you know, all kinds of things together. Yeah, I mean, so it's been hard for me. Yeah, very hard. You know, it's very hard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough loss.
Yeah, this is a very difficult thing. Pa George, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, first, my deepest condolences go to the family of the late minister. I did not know him. We want to talk about him relating to his work at the time. And it was sad the other day when we learned that he fell out and they rushed him to Ghana. And after a month or so, we learned that he died. And it's difficult any times to talk some certain issue about people. But I'm one person, I always say that if I don't know you, I don't want to lie. I don't want to speak evil of you because I don't know you. And you have not done anything to me. We may have a disagreement, but when something happened to you, I always want to take that situation and put myself in that shoe. What would happen if it was me? And the way I want to be treated, that's how I want the next person to be treated, regardless of our political disagreement. Secondly, we are all Liberians. And the late Mambutu worked for the government. I mean, like it or not, he served the Liberian people. He once served as senator, as the professor said, he worked at Water and Sewer. So he had played some role in Liberia, contributing to the development of the country. But what puzzles me is the way the death of Mobutu and being a strong member of CDC, the way the death of him being treated, it makes me a pause, and I try to wonder, maybe the professor can help me. I start thinking that maybe the CDC has, maybe it might be like a Politburo bureau. Certain people are consecutive members of the gas special treatment, and other people don't have that treatment. And I hate to say this, not that I hate certain people, but I saw when Muna Peno died, when that body arrived, in fact, when the news broke, you could see civilians that they were bereaved publicly.
I say it.
In Morovia.
Professor, okay, I think he gone. He gone out. I told you, right? The clash of the titans. Something was already coming in here. He's gonna be joining us here. But
I didn't knock him off.
Oh no! By George, he wouldn't say that Professor Zawulo or either so we always accept views and opinion. People that are matured and responsible, they are held accountable of their own view. But let me just dwell on what he said, because there is a tweet from the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. I don't know whether you had the privilege to see that yet, but let me just, I'm going to read the full detail here. That's quite amazing to see what is happening. Why, who drops the ball on that? You know? Let me read a tweet because there's no way to. This was something. This is what the Vice President posted on her Instagram. Joel Howard Taylor. Oh, Dev, where is that sting? Oh, Dev, where is your victory? So Mobutu is gone, and people are moving to rant without even mourning him for a day. Only what is done for God is permanent. To him who is wise, be advised.
Okay, now back.
Okay, so Amos Joy, it was not Professor Zawulo sent you out, neither it was sent you out, so you can't say, wait a minute, there's some sort of conspiracy is in the making. But I go and end your point. Yeah, I know. Go and end your point, and now I'll bring in the professor to respond.
Yes. So what I was saying, when they want to dedicate that market, which I believe the minister or the Minister of Public Works is the architect and bring behind the building of that market. I might be wrong, but I didn't see the government or anybody there to offer a moment of silence in honor of that man. It makes me to wonder, as Liberians, with all the sacrifices that man has made to the country, the contribution, where are we heading? And especially to sedition. You treat other people from the party, you give them certain preferential treatment. Then when it comes to certain people, it's different. So my question, maybe the professor can help me. Maybe I might be wrong in my assessment, but he would be someone good to throw more light because he's from the inner circle of the party. So maybe my analysis might be wrong. So he go maybe throw more light on it. But I'm still figuring out to find out why Mobutu, the late Mobutu, the Minister of Public Works, being treated like that. I know the government gave financial support. I'm not questioning that. But I'm talking about this man, his death. I'm not seeing the kind of displays that they do for other people, like Youngblood, Joran Sheridan. I'm not seeing that. Maybe I might be wrong, so maybe the professor can help me.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Josh. Let me first of all say that maybe the mistake they made, let's correct that mistake here. So let me first of all express my condolences to the family of Mobutu, his brothers, his sisters, his children, and his significant others. And I would just, maybe since we're on a public show here, maybe we can just ask for maybe just 10 seconds of silence. And so I will pause to honor him. Now, let me come back. I do understand your questions and the doubts that have been raised by you, especially when you take into consideration what may have occurred during the demise or celebration of life of former fallen members of the Mighty Congress for Democratic Change that you are not seeing today in this direction. And also the vice president's tweet. Let me say this. It's difficult to talk about this thing because Mabutu is a friend and a brother. But we got to be honest when we have these conversations. So I have to be very honest. I'm not very sure that Mabutu is was a member of the CDC.
No.
Yeah, I'm not very certain about that. The Congress for Democratic Change. He may have been part of the Coalition for Democratic Change by virtue of his alliance, maybe with the NPP, if he did join them, or maybe through some other means. But I don't think Mabutu was a member of the Congress for Democratic Change. I have no records of that. And I will definitely do a follow-up to see whether he was actually a member of the Congress for Democratic Change. That does not negate the fact that when somebody who served our government, unfortunately, is called to the heavens, that we cannot celebrate the life of that person. The party would never abandon those who serve this government and those who serve the coalition. Mabutu will get his flowers, even while he's being, in his death. He got his flowers in his life. Our party respected Mabutu. There were many, many other qualified citizens who the president would have appointed to be Minister of Public Works. He appointed Mabutu and he put his full trust in Mabutu. Mabutu was given a hand to implement all the projects he was implementing. I witnessed and watched the interaction between Mabutu, the president, Mabutu, Minister McGill, Mabutu, and other top government officials. And all I noticed was respect, 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 respect. There was full respect and admiration for Mabutu. So I don't believe that there is anybody within the hierarchy of government or anybody within the hierarchy of the party who is not disturbed by this untimely demise. There have been so many events happening in Liberia over the last few weeks. So many events happening in Liberia. So many things happening in Liberia over the last few weeks. And the government officials have been stretched to the thin limits. They have had to wrestle with so many different occurrences. And so maybe in the process of doing that, this may have slipped a little bit.
So wait a minute, Professor. And so, because I'm a free thinker, critical thinker, and I will need your expertise. I know Pat George there. He's already loaded to come back here. But to even inject the fact that I'm not sure Mabutu is a sedition, that seems to put a hook on this. So if you are not one of them, there's some sort of extra treatment going to be given to you. But he's in the front line to push the pro-pro agenda. And if I'm right, the pro-pro agenda basically is embedded with the development structure, in which he is the front barrier of this. Yes, and it's a collaboration of a different party, and I agree with you. That's a fact. He's not a sedition, but he's being incorporated into the system, into the governing party, and is a key player as a minister. But dwelling on the tweet coming from the sitting vice president, who is the number 2 president by virtue of our constitution, it speaks volume that there's some sort of disconnect within the ruling establishment.
I don't think so. The vice president has a right to say what she wants to say. I think her statement she made is premature. I think she needs to take it back. I think it's a disrespect to the many men, women, boys of the Mighty Congress for Democratic Change that risked their life to have her elected as a vice president of our country. I think she needs to take it back. Let me explain this to you. The reason why, like I said, this is a very difficult topic for me to be talking about, because I don't want the message to go over there. Mabutu is a friend. I consider even a family. I don't want the message to go over there. I'm dishonoring him in death. That's not what I want to do. what I'm trying to say to you, the reality of how a political system works. You talk about Monan Penom. Monan Penom had a special connection with the Youth League. She had a special connection with the Youth League. One of the things that people always say is that when these things happen, the government is paying people to go and do different things to celebrate these fallen people. I think this has proven it. The Youth League engagement, involvement with the burial and removal or the arrival of bodies of fallen comrades has been spontaneous. The young people have just sat among themselves and decided to go and and support or identify with certain people in their death. So nobody is telling them what to do, and that's exactly what's happening here. Given the fact that Mobutu wasn't necessarily a member of the CDC, he may not necessarily have had the kind of connections with the Youth League that, for example, Mona Penon had or Geraldine Doe-Cherie had. It may have impacted the way his body was received. Take into consideration former Representative Nangwe Law. I had the same discussion with another person who raised the same issue. Nangwe Law joined the CDC. He joined the CDC, several months ago. So the way that seditionists celebrated Mona Penon in her demise was different from the way that they, treated Nangwe Law, late Representative Nangwe Law. So these things are natural. It's not that somebody is telling them, say, oh, don't go and meet this body. But I'm telling you that Mobutu will be giving his flowers. But the party definitely appreciate the good work that Mobutu did, and the party will honor him for his good work. His name will always be in the history, the honors of our history, and we'll never forget him for the part that he played. He has been in the front line for the development infrastructure initiative of the proposed agenda for development. So he can never be forgotten. And we always appreciate the work that he did. We'll never forget about him. But this is the reason why you may not have seen, the outbursts of cries and support, as you saw when the late Representative Penon passed away.
So before Pat George comes in here, Nyepan, it's just for conversation purposes, and with media, we always like to discuss these things. I intend not to insert myself based on the relationship here, but and I think the vice president was making reference to the dedications of the Market Hall in Douala, right? And was that a good arguable point to say, okay, this is one of the guys who is also involved in the infrastructure development initiative of this government, and here we are on the a day after, for us to go out there might not administratively or in our good conscience. And I know the government is huge, and so I mean we have to be very strategic in discussing these issues here, government with functions and all of that. But do you think it would have been much sort of conscience-minded if they would have just maybe tabled that for, even though I assume based on how the protocol went, probably they have their own timeline. But don't you think it would have been a good administrative and considering all of the tight tensions in the country to say, okay, even though we have did this because of this reason, we're going to make a tactical adjustment. Don't you think they should have done that would have been prudent?
If you want me to answer that, I would say, in hindsight, I would say yes. They could have considered that, and I think they considered that. But they had to consider that vis-a-vis the president's schedule, and whether or not postponing that dedication would have adversely impacted on the president's schedule. So, and I'm very positive. I mean, let me tell you something.
You're looking at the protocol aspect of maybe the schedule of the president or whatever.
Yeah. All the other people associated with it. Let me tell you something. People may not know. I had the opportunity to spend a day in the office of the president, and with all these guys working. These people are overworked. Whatever to what Liberians are saying out there, they are overworked, and they are not just operating by heart. They are scientific in the way they approach their work. They have their schedule, they sit down, they analyze their schedule, and they have to be moving events from here and there. So it's not an easy job that they are doing. These guys are stressed out. These guys are
the most commitment late in their timeline with their schedule. Is that the argument?
Is what?
Are you saying they move concomitantly in line with their schedule? That's
well, yeah. They constantly seek to make adjustment to accommodate other things. Like, for example, I'm 100% sure that there was a discussion on the possibility of postponing the dedication to focus on, the arrival of the Battle of Maputo. I'm very, very sure. I'm very, very sure they did that. But I'm equally sure that they were extenuating circumstances that made such determination or such decision impossible or challenging. So we got to take into consideration, because you see, we don't have all the information. So, but I'll tell you this: I will stand for them, and I can back them any day, because I have seen it. I sat with these people and see the work they have to do. I mean, you look at the Minister of State, McGill. He's far younger than me, but see the work that is on his head and see how it's impacting on him. So these people are not just sitting down and not taking into consideration all of those things. They are putting those things. They are putting a whole lot of things in place.
All right, let me go to Pat Joy, then we'll pivot to today's because I don't know why Director Moses Carter did not show up to press time. I'm not getting any message. We came to a full agreement. Time was agreed. I don't know why, but Pat George, in maybe 1 minute 30 seconds, respond to this, so we'll pivot.
Yeah, let me just say this.
Oh, where were you, my man? You said, let me just say this, and you just...
Man want to give me hard time. So every time he wants to give me hard time, he goes away.
Okay, so let's pivot. It's not going to be the talking point here. I told you, thank you, and this is part of a commitment, not just commitment, punctuality. When you commit yourself to doing something, we know things happen. Emergency occurred on a daily basis, unexpected. But in an interim, you must be able to alert, especially when there's these things we are doing is time consuming. We take time to create flyer. I'm not one of those in the entertainment industry in doing this. This is professional work, and we like to give people the opportunity to get their version of it. There was extensive messages, text, and with the police chief. And because I'm interested to know the police-community relationship, which is very much key. Okay, Pa George is back here. Pa George,
what I want to
are the Russians in your device or what?
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that I know what Professor Zao is saying. But my question is this: thank you for the correction, because I didn't know that Maputo was that member of the CDC. But here's my point here. The government can perform multitask at any time. At the dedication ceremony, you don't think it would have been prudent for the government or people that just offer a moment of silence to recognize him, even though he's gone. You don't think that would have been okay? Secondly, he worked in the government and he was defending, regardless what party he came from, but he was defending the policy and implementing the policy of the CDC-led government. So I don't see that if his demise is coming or he demise, and there should be teammate celebration for him, then comparing that to other people who consider to be founding member of CDC, there I have a problem. Because if the president could not go, I used to say the president should have gone to the airport to meet the border, but maybe he will ask the Minister of State or the Foreign Minister to process for him. Those are things I'm talking about. The president should be physically present everywhere, but he will attract so many people to go there and say, look, this man is representing the government. He's here representing the president. I didn't see that. Then that one made me to wonder. And I don't want to continue repeating myself, because even when the VOA market, when they're dedicating the market, they would have just said, look, let us take a minute to observe a silent prayer for the ongoing minister to show respect. None of those things happen. So the issue that it means that your CDC, you have a different treatment. If you are not CDC and you're working for the government from a different political party, something happens, you got a different treatment. And that is what playing out in Liberia. I saw Jay Nangwestro when he died. I saw that. And now it happened to Mambutu.
Okay.
The question, my point, these people are employees of the government. They are serving the country. Regardless, you are tapped into them to work for you. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, but again, let me take back. Let me make one comment on your point. The point you made about the possibility of them offering a moment of silence at the dedication is well in place. I think that they should have done that. Now you gotta understand also that when you are planning, I mean, I'm sure you have planned some things before. When you are into some of these things, sometimes it's extremely, you're in a situation where sometimes you can't even put one or two together. It makes it hard for you to even think sometimes. So it was an oversight, and I think that oversight is regrettable. It's very much regrettable. And I think, and I know that the planners of that program learn from it. Now, the other point you made concerning if you are a sedition or United States, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that a lot of times when these deaths happen, it's a spontaneous action of the youth. It's not anybody telling them to do it. So sometimes it's about connection. Sometimes if the youth don't feel connected to a particular individual, they might not come up in the numbers as you and I may want them to come up. It's not, it's just natural. That's just the case. Could the president have sent other government officials at the airport to do it? You don't know. I don't know whether he did it. But one thing I'm sure, knowing who the president is, knowing the kind of
Professor, that's what I said from what I saw.
Yeah,
because if the minister of state is present, the foreign minister, those are high-ranking government, the press will mention them.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't see it. So maybe you got the information. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, guys,
it didn't happen.
All right, let's cut a deal. There's going to be a long time conversation that we're going to be in here. Let's pivot here because this is one of the things I wanted Director Moses Carter we talk behind the scenes because I really have interest in talking to him because we'll all be having the family of the veterans of the kids are going to be having. Then thought that we wanted to dive into a lot of critical issue ahead of the 2020 senatorial and presidential. Spoke with Minister what's his name, Musa Frank Dane, the poor on hold at some point in time, hopefully. Okay, Professor, because this is something I want to take a holistic conversation with the Deputy Police Chief, who is a spokesperson, and our realtor was really anticipating or knowing police and community relationship. And the reason for that, there is this cloud of apprehensions of the Liberian people, the citizenry, of not trusting the police. Why are they not trusting a statutory arm of the government of the Republic of Liberia that should provide protection for its citizens? That trust is lacking. So I really wanted to know why is it. I mean, that's the view, that's the opinion of the people. I don't know how true that is. But I just wanted to know why is it happening? Who is not accelerating this sort of a community togetherness? Is it coming from the police or is it coming from the citizenry? What do you think is lacking? Because, and the reason I'm saying that here, Professor, I try to backtrack things that happened in the past. And you remember the armed forces of Liberia, at the time of the crisis or came a certain time, it was labeled, there was a stigma, though AFL. Right? Is it the doings of members or few folks of the armed forces of Liberia, or is it a certain group of people predominantly within the AFL? How was it perceived? Now we are having or we heard people saying the CDC police, I see this as a very dangerous precedent. Yesterday it was though AFL, today is CDC AFL. And I'm concerned to see what is happening here because there is a pattern here now that factor into what we saw. It was an uncontrollable situation in Liberia. Who can address this situation?
Anyone who calls the police, the police are CDC police is simply a pathological liar, a person who doesn't understand the makeup of the police. The CDC is not responsible for the appointment of more than 85% of the members of the police force. So the CDC never had any part to play, never play any part in the hiring or recruitment of the majority of the members of the police. So it cannot be a CDC police force. The CDC were not part of the restructuring of the army and the police in Liberia. Most members of the police came from the restructuring program that was done prior to the CDC government coming into power. So there's no CDC police. The second thing about it is that I don't know where you come from with your analysis or your statement, your assertion that there's a mistrust for the police in Liberia. I haven't seen.
I'm just basing on the opinion, and I made it crystal clear. That's why people, you know.
Yeah, but
you have already heard that.
I heard it, but that's not scientific.
Okay.
There not been any scientific pooling. There not been any scientific survey where the results have been revealed that Liberian people don't trust the police. Liberian people go to bed every night. They turn the lights off and they go to sleep because they trust there's a hardworking police force out there protecting their lives. And for the most, the police do a wonderful job protecting the lives of the people in Liberia. There are problems. In a country like ours, where the economic situation is the way it is, owing to the failings of past governments to address the economic inequities in our society, you are bound to expect to see, you know, the level of attempted armed robbery and crimes in the society. Those are things that President Weah is fully aware of, and he and his team, they are putting in place strategies to strengthen the police in terms of training, in terms of logistics, and other things that they need to be able to combat crime and bring down the crime rate in the country. But I think we should be saluting the police officers who go to work every day, even on their meager salary, to protect the lives and property of our people. They are doing a Herculean job. Yet there are times they fail. Sometimes when they do an investigation, you see all the characteristics of unprofessionalism in it. But think about it. That's the training they have. They have had inadequate training, and it requires time for them to be properly trained and to be able to effectively do the job that they want to do. But most police officers are good people. They work so hard to protect the lives and property of our people. President Weah and his government, they are very proud of every police officer, whether he appointed them or whether they were appointed by previous administration. I gave my hats off to the police officer in Liberia. They are really working hard to protect our country. And so let's not dampen their spirit. Let's not denigrate their efforts. Let's lift them.
Professor, so before I go to Mr. George, and probably we'll try to pick a few calls here. Yeah. You see this as a sort of a rare meat or some sort of innuendos being thrown by the ordinary civilians or the general public there, or conception against the police. Is that how you view it?
Yeah. Well, certain sectors of the population will always doubt the police because they want to present a narrative to the rest of the world of an ungovernable Liberia. They want to present a narrative to the world that since President Weah came to power, the security situation in the country has deteriorated. Those are narratives that we now hold, because to tell you the truth and the facts are there. The facts repudiate these false claims because Liberia is more safe than even the great United States that some of them reside in, and they are questioning the security in Liberia. Liberia is safer today than it was during the time of President Salif, even with the presence of the unmade security forces in the country. So let's be fair. The police are doing a fabulous job. Now, because we had an incident, which is serious, we had an incident where a full person lost their lives under circumstances that many people deem suspicious. That's understandable for there to be trepidations and concerns. But that does not, the trepidation and concern should not tantamount to denigrating or disparaging an agency or an institution that works so hard every day to protect the lives of and safety of the people in Liberia. You're not seeing people being beheaded in the street of Monrovia. People are able to walk freely in Monrovia. You're not seeing people almost getting their neck slashed off because somebody want to pull a chain from their neck. It's not happening in Liberia. So let's honor the police for doing that. It's because of the police that you have those things that are happening. In crowded scenes in Liberia, I've gone to crowded areas in Liberia on several occasions. I'm there, I'm standing up. I put myself in a vulnerable position to see what will happen. If I put myself in a similar position in Ajame, La Côte d'Ivoire, I might be dead. But in Liberia, I would do the same thing and nothing happens to me. So let's be fair. The police are doing a very good job. They have their own challenges. And as a people, let's see how we can help them overcome those challenges.
Okay, let me bring in George, and we'll try to take few calls here. And hopefully, I hope Director Carter, and that's one of the thing here. You know, there's something called media and government relationship. That's the same thing within the police. And for us here in LPR, that's the sort of things we want. We don't want to be judgmental. We want to give everybody the fair share to make the news proportional. That's how it goes professionally. I'm not talking about those who are entertainers, who play into the hands of their supporter. That's not who we are here on LPR. We must have our own disagreement, but I think it's important that we give these people the opportunity. Let me put a line, the number out here, to see if we can have some sort of interaction here with our folks. Yet we respect the views and opinions of our people as well. We just tell them to be done in a civil context. Pa George, who is?
Yes, sir.
Who messing with you this morning or afternoon?
You know, maybe that's some situation because they say I don't like the president, so maybe. You know, the other accusation like the president. I don't know.
God messing with a man because he doesn't like us.
Okay. Let me say this. I always say this. I understand the police. I used to be part of that formally. I understand what's going on. But let me tell Professor Zawu, the police normally, the director of police, the deputy directors, they are the one that run that force. No policeman just get up, go to perform any duty or operation on his own. 99%. 100%. The police is being run by the director. Instruction come from down there, then it trickle down. And when you hear people say sedition police, they are not saying it because they just hate the police. No. I don't know why professors I have not seen some of the video.
So hold on
one
Josh. So do you agree with what is being thrown out there? Are they sedition police or the police of the government of Liberia?
Oh, they are sedition police. I agree with the people, and I will give some facts.
Okay. I just wanted to
people tell you that when there are certain people in trouble, they call the police doesn't show up. When seditions are marching the street, the police doesn't beat them. But when opposition get in the street, the police, that when they come to enforce laws. So what that tell you? And he talked about people here not being caught up in the street. Now, Professor Zawi, you know, you ought to know. Liberia had not reached that point. But when we talk about safety of the people, how the police handle issues with the people. Now, take for example, Patrick Sulu, this is not just 2020 police. Patrick Sulu have been in the police before. He has a basic training from the academy. He's not the director. If the director can come on the social media and say, hey, the way we handle the crime scene, we made a mistake. Yeah. That creates mistrust by the public.
Okay, then hold on one second. So, Joy, let me hold you right there. I will come to that. I get a follow-up question, but let me just go to a caller on the line here to get the full interpretation that when somebody say, okay, we made a mistake, should we execute them for that? I'd have interest in knowing that. But let me go to the line here to Constitution State here, I believe. 475 number 59550. Are you there, caller?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me clear?
Loud and clear. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm Wilson Keta, and I would like to say hi to your studio guest, my own big brother, Professor Zawolo, and Mr. George, who are, of course, seriously, because I know he's an opposition, and he doesn't speak any fact about this government. And I will prove it right now.
What's that?
Well, I heard you asked Mr. George a question, and he said that the police is CDC police. My question to him, when George Weah became president, did he dissolve the Liberian National Police, recruited new people in, and brought in as police force? Or this was the very police force that came from the Unity Party-led government? And so we should speak back. And Mr. So, you being a journalist or a talk show host, you are there to educate, inform, and entertain our people. When people come out with these kind of assertions or these kind of misleading information, you got to correct them. We know that people, most time in Liberia, since this president came to office, we saw that whenever the police acted, they were considered as either party police because of political sentiment. You understand? Maybe the police went and were stopping rioting or throwing a stone, and some people from the other side of the eye, whether it was division or whether it was CCP, they accused the police, both parties. So it is not strange. It's only political. But to say the police is CDC police is bad. CDC does not have any police in Liberia. The police is the national police force of the Republic of Liberia, protecting lives and property. And that's what we should look at. We should stop playing the political games around here. We are educating our people. How can we still want to change our system when we constantly lie over and again? And I'm surprised because sometimes we have to correct them. I don't care how your guests come and make statements that are true. Put him on his spot that what he's saying is not true. I mean, we're living on a van.
Hold on, let me ask you. Let me ask that young man.
So
hold on, let me just ask you.
So
you believe
you're making specific reference
to the AFL at the
specifically that mean doing I didn't do.
Yeah, but check him because what he said. We are bring new police force when he became president.
Oh man, that is not a thing. I didn't think that George we are organized the police force
in the country.
So we are appointed the director of police.
So did you listen to my analysis? Started before you even got to the police. Did you listen to my analysis, the opinions, the view? But what we do here, let me just tell you here, what we do here, we hold people responsible of your comment. Before I brought you in, asking a specific question, and there's a follow-up to that question. That's not enough because I want to hear it. We don't sanction people's views. It is not our job to sanction people's views and opinion. That's why we bring people of dissenting view to this platform. But we also question people. And I went back to say that was the view, that was the opinion. They started that during the heat of the war, AFL. The institution, the police, the AFL, they are being in existence before the George Weah, the Samuel Doe, and all of those people. But for some reason, because of the public population's growth, people opinions, a few people that are happening within the society, which of course is true, people will have their different and dissenting views on those issues. So should we sanction the views when people want to express? We can go further down to get their inner part of what they are saying for the benefit of the audience.
So when you mention AFL, when you mention it's a particular thing when you mention, because we all live we're around doing the war in our country. We saw how AFL became, how the Liberian force term AFL to be those soldier or crime.
Oh, you believe it that time, so you not believe it. That's very different. No, hold on, right there. You said that's so. Now hold on. I will give you the chance. So those people that are making the argument now, are they not Liberian?
No. You're not getting my point. I was trying to make. We were around when other tribes in the army were hunted out of the army. When Duo could not trust.
What was the reason? Do you know the reason that was involved?
Because people were deflecting, they were undermining the army, they were doing all sorts of things. So what I'm saying here is it was clear that the army honored the late president, though he wanted people of his kinsmen to be close to him. So he brought a lot of them in and putting other people out of the army. You understand? Targeting other tribes. The Jew tribe was targeted from the army. The Pele tribe was targeted from the army. Different tribes who felt that you were not comfortable with, they were targeted. They left, and some of them ran and joined the MPF and stuff like that. So people say, okay, that was Joe army. It was still AFL. What I'm saying here is when George Weah became president, he didn't dissolve the police force and you know, and brought him
So,
a new brand of
okay,
people.
so was the army dissolved then? Why you're pointing out, was the army dissolved at that time?
The army was never dissolved, but we saw the recruitment of new army personnel.
Is there no recruitment in the police now?
There's no recruitment since Joe we have become president. Have not.
No. You see that?
Oh, come on, please,
that's why I
man. We talk to people. Don't go there. Okay, let me just go.
I think what he's saying, let's go
back to caller here. I hope.
Yeah. Let me say this. You see, this is why they don't like me. When Moses Carter in the police before, Moses Carter was in the police before.
Moses Carter
was in the police.
Moses Carter is not occupied.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
The police. Why I said this? The police allegedly went and put gun in Yeke Kolba's car. The case won the court. Yeke Kolba won the case.
You say allegedly.
That's one example.
You say allegedly.
He won the case. He won the case.
Winning the case. Winning the case. No. Let me not let you.
Let's do it one at a time, guys.
Let me correct that thing. Let me correct, because the other people.
Hold on one second, Professor.
Police.
Pa Joyce.
Let him go ahead.
Yes.
Make a point. I'll go to the professor.
The police planted gun in Yeke Kolba's car. The case won the court. Yeke Kolba won the case. Yeke Kolba is an opposition.
So hold on there. Hold right there too. The police, your word said the police allegedly planted guns. Yeke Kolba went to court and Yeke Kolba won the case. What was specifically the verdict? Oh, this guy, what's going on with his system here? I want to know what was the verdict of the court, winning the case and also validating his argument, and all of us what we saw here. So I'll let him come back here.
He ain't come back because we need to actually.
George.
Yeah.
Your argument is that the court verdict that said that the police planted the guns into Kolba's car?
Yeah, Mr. So the police said they found gun in Yeke Kolba's car.
Yeah.
They went to court.
Yes.
The court said no, there was no gun in the car. So
okay,
then, hold on. Where the gun came from? When the government, the people who said they searched a car and found gun there, they went to court. The court said no, that was a lie. Who planted the gun?
Yeah,
who planted the gun? Now, these are things.
I'm also asking we are judging the verdict of the court now too. So what did the court say? Did the court deny it there or no gun? And if gun was there, how that gun got in the car?
No, Mr. So yes, the legal thing here. The court found Yeke Kolba not guilty. So it means that the people who put the gun there, that was the government that got it was Yeke Kolba against the state.
You are interpreting. You are interpreting.
No. So I'm not interpreting. That was a court ruling. It was Yeke Kolba against the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was not an individual who said Yeke Kolba put the gun in the car, the phone gun. It was the state. The police said they searched the main car and found a gun there. So the case went to court. So it's the Republic of Liberia versus the Honorable Yeke Kolba. It's just simple.
So the nuclear of that case was police putting guns in or the government putting gun in Yeke Kolba's car versus Yeke Kolba or one of the other side is denied. Professor, I see you scratching in your head. This is blowing you off.
You know, I don't need to bring another show name on it, but I was on another show several weeks ago, and I kind of like try to dismiss an argument by giving a little profile of what I do. And then somebody said, oh, you're trying to portray what you do. But one of the things I do in my professional work is that I teach a course in mathematics we call logic. And I found that, you know, I'm just fascinated by the course because the more I instruct that course, the more I see the flaws and the fallacies in the arguments that Liberians make. Acquittal in a court does not equate to something not happening or happening. Because the court did not found Yeke Kolba guilty, doesn't necessarily mean that there was not a gun that he had in the car. Yeah, those are two different things.
Probably right.
Yeah, that's not what the court is basing his verdict on. That's why Mr. Soul repeatedly asks you, what was the verdict of the court? Because he understands that maybe did the verdict of the court say there was no gun in the car, or they say they acquitted him of what? What was the charge?
Allegedly,
what was the charge? The police alleged that there were guns that were in the car. And Mr.
Yes.
Yeke was acquitted of those things because the police might have alleged that it was placed there by himself. Acquittal might mean that Yeke Kuluba himself did not place it there. It might have been placed by another person. And because the prima facie argument was that Yeke Kuluba placed the gun in the car, they could not find Yeke Kuluba guilty of that.
Gentlemen, let me get a bigger picture. George, let me get a bigger picture because I try to follow this here. And the only frustrating part of this here, these people that are actually connected to these cases, sometimes when you reach out to them, their unwillingness or they become more selective which institution to go to because they do not want to answer tough questions. And that's kind of sickening here. So let me ask you here, Pa George, you seems to be okran or on top of this whole thing here. Was it established? Allege is assumption as something there is uncertainty here as to what really happened. But you're going to talk. Was it established that indeed there was a gun found in that car, as far as you are concerned?
Let me get the genesis of the case. The car was searched the first time. Everybody was there.
Yes, I saw that video.
The police took the car, they came to the station. When they came to the station, that one they said they found gun in the car, and it was the same police that searched the car the first time. They took the car and brought it to the impoundment ground of the police. It was there when they said they found gun in the car. Now, Professor can talk about someone. The issue here is facts. The law based on facts. The police said we found gun in the car, and the car belongs to Yeke Kuluba. Therefore, Yeke Kuluba is the one who placed the gun in the car. That was the complaint. The police could not, when they went over, the police could not establish.
That's right.
For the fact that yes, it was Yeke Kuluba who put the gun there. Based on that, that's what turned out.
Yeah. So, but let's give it a fair shot. And you can check off if you want. We don't check people off here. But I can also say I can be accused of something allegedly of a crime.
Yeah.
Police will come to me based on the information that they have on hand at that time. They can let me go. And after a month, there might be a new revelation that will incriminate me into that case, and eventually I can be convicted. So, and the reason I'm asking all of these questions here, I don't know on what circumstances or contention or environment in which they are, but we saw that images when the car was being searched. What I was done thoroughly, what the media had the opportunity to see it, and to what extent in terms of what they were really looking for at that time. And if they went and say, okay, we find this, and they went to court, and the court said, hey, this case here is a leak bucket. As far as we are concerned, your argument about this case here, no gun was found, nothing was done. Somebody is making a ploy here to incriminate this man. Those are the kind of things that I want to see. And I've tried to reach out to Kuluba of this thing here before, but we have not had a chance to really come on. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think we really need to reach to Kuluba.
Under the criminal law, everybody is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
So that's why normally they will use the word allege. Because you can't just say the man is guilty or this and that. No, everything is alleged until I go to the court of jurisdiction. That would decide
Pajoy, do you know whether there was an FOC? Was there any gun displayed physically that people saw, or we?
Yeah, but FOC is the FOC now is the fruit of the crime.
Yeah,
the FOC is the fruit of the crime. So the police presented a gun.
Yeah,
that's the FOC.
Yeah, but let me come in.
I will still have to get you back here. I don't know why Moses Carter did not show up today.
Let me come back to that. The police, the prima facie argument in this case here was that the gun was pointed by Yeke Kuluba. That was the police argument before the court. That's a very high standard to prove in a court of competent jurisdiction. It's a very high standard to prove. And that's where the police missed it. The police could not provide the evidence to support their argument.
That was circumstantial evidence.
Okay. No, but circumstantial evidence may not necessarily hold if it's not.
So their argument was circumstantial.
Circumstantial, yeah. So here's the thing. That's a very high standard to prove. When you have a circumstantial argument, it's very challenging to prove in the court. But the fact that the police could not prove that case doesn't necessarily mean that two things. It doesn't necessarily mean that the police planted a gun. It doesn't necessarily mean that Yeke Kuluba did not have a gun in the car. There was none of those things there was those things adjudicated on. All the court said was that he was not guilty of planting a gun in the car. It didn't say that he didn't put a gun there. He wasn't.
So what is the proper Professor and Joy? What is the proper?
What's the what?
What is the probability?
Well, I'm not going to go into hypotheticals. But what I'm just saying, but his argument here today, when he started, it was that he said the police allegedly placed a gun in the car. None of those things were proven.
Yeah.
None of those things were proven. None of them were proven. None of those things were proven. Yeah, you said that.
Professor, you know the law. I wasn't there.
Yeah, I know.
And what I saw, what the police say is what I'm saying.
What was the argument based on?
Eh?
What was your argument? You wasn't there. Were you told? You were told by any source. What was the basis of your argument?
No. What I said, mistrust that the Liberian people have in the police, and I said these are some of the factors. Because when the police come up to allege that somebody put this thing here, then the goes to court, and the police cannot prove beyond all reasonable doubt to tie that person to that crime.
Yeah.
Moreover, involving a politician. Yeah. That when the mistrust are coming.
Do you know how many times?
It's not just a shoplifting.
Do you see that as
something like
against
do you know how many times the government has not been able, the police are not being able to win a case against other people, even opposition members in government? Jefferson Koji, Moba Molu, all those people were carried, Changa Kowo, they were all carried before the police. They were all charged with all kinds of things. Did the police ever prove those things right? So it's not a new thing.
No.
The police is there to protect safety and security of its citizens. The police will have to take certain actions to account certain fear and certain concerns at certain times. It's strategic. You are saying here that you have some idea of the law enforcement thing. The police will have to make certain move in order to protect certain actions from occurring. It doesn't. Sometimes the police make an allegation and then later on they don't even follow through on the allegation. It was strategic to protecting the lives and safety and the security of the people. It happens here in the United States. It happens in Liberia. It doesn't necessarily mean that the police intend to go there. It should not necessarily create distrust in the police. It should only be saying that its police has been very calculative.
And I think on the other side here, something I think we must also give the flower to whom is due. I know the police crew, and I'm one of those who has frowned on sometimes how to go about. So when Patrick Sudu comes out and say, "Oh, we missed him," I think we must give that up, because we don't want people to be lying, to just make up something or to act on circumstantial or act on emotion. Okay, this is what I think they're going to be here. So this case here, there's a guy from New York. We also this guy who was incarcerated for what, and even up to the time for I think death for how many years, only to find out after going through all of the forensic DNA to prove that he has no link to this case here, and this guy has been in jail for years, destroy his whole life. Go ahead, we'll soon be wrapping up here. By George.
Yes, so
okay, let me see.
What I'm trying to say is
on the line here. By George.
I'm not against the police.
By George.
But the behavior. Yeah.
Let me just go back to the phone line here, then three of will just wrap it up in a few minutes. Okay. Thank you for holding on that. Are you still there, boy?
I'm still here.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Sorry, we're trying to sort out something.
So one of the major things we should be talking, as a nation and people, is we should equip our police force. We should train them effectively. And the thing that is where our police force is adequate training. If you compare the police, and let's take for example the American police. They got all the sophisticated and they train, but yet and still they make mistakes. And like you said, somebody went to jail for a crime he knew nothing about, and after so many years, you were acquitted. But this the thing here in Liberia, our people quick to make judgment, and sometimes some of the things they say influence the kids. The extent where it's difficult for police to even prove anything, So I think moving forward is for us to urge our government to train our police effectively in all aspects, crime related and all the other stuff. Because look at it. Look at the situation up Broad Street with the two dead people in the car. You see how the crime scene was messy and all that. So
There are so many things they put in, but to say the police is partisan police and planting guns in people's cars, and no, it's far from that. I think we should take away the sentiment. We should take away the sentiment and be objective. Now, you guys are, I don't know, George is a politician and I'm a politician. Remember, maybe in the future you will take power. And if we come here and start everything we start saying in legislature.
How do you know that I am a politician?
Our institution in Liberia, there won't be any kind of far picture for our country.
Okay.
So let's speak the facts.
All right, thank you. Okay, so George, go ahead.
Mr. So let's say to some of the listeners or citizens who come here and try to testimony your partisan. I am a free thinker. I speak my mind anytime. I'm not there to please you. What I see as a fact, that's what I relate to. I don't base my speech on sentiment. What I say, and I will always stand by it. When the police is doing a sloppy job, we should call it. Yeah, it's the thing. I one of those. I have complained that look, the police is underfunded. I understand that, but who are we to blame? What is the priority of the government? The first thing is the security of the people, because when there's no people, there's no government. If the government gave you $1 million, I said it in Professor Zawa last. I said it. The government gave $1.7 million to the police. That is peanut in the drop of the bucket for the police. Whereby they're taking money and allocating it to other programs that is not that urgent as providing protection for the people of Liberia. I have said that. But what I say here, when you talk about training, you talk about logistics, the uniform, the labs, all these things, the technician, fingerprint people, the camera people, all these things, you have to have them in place. Now, as president, we are responsible for it? No, because there have been an old age problem. But what I'm saying, what is the progress they're making? The way forward. That's why I speak up. I'm not putting the blame out. This has been 100 some more year problem, but we are moving in. We are in the 21st century. So we cannot continue to complain about the past to justify our action in the present. Those are issues that people don't want to hear. And let me say this. The last time when I said people go to be serial client, Professor Jabo then challenge it. And Mr. So you can attest to it because you had journalists on your show, I think last week, said the same thing, confirm what I'm seeing. So those who have the notion that I hate George Weah, no, I'm not seeing this man. I'm not interacting, but my disagreement is with some policy. And that's what people don't want to hear, to express their disagreement with policy. And that is different from having a personal beat with an individual. But many Liberians don't understand. When I tend to disagree with Professor Zawo, they will say, oh, I hate Professor Zawo. No, it's just that maybe certain things that we don't agree on. It doesn't mean I hate him. I have not had any personal interaction with President Weah.
So George,
these are the things sometimes. Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this here. Your assertions, your opinions, your analysis, how you see things, is it politically motivated? Is it politically driven? Is it taken from in the context of opposition who is does not even like the policies of this government? How is it being factored in?
Oh, no. Listen, Mr. So, I am the co-founder of the Justice Forum in Liberia. I'm the co-founder of the Justice Forum. So I don't speak as a politician. I have no special ties to any political parties in Liberia right now as I speak. Okay? What I speak of is what effect...
Any ties in the USA?
Eh?
Any ties within the USA?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Democrat.
I'm wondering what I get up in the USA. That's not... So say he's not a Liberty partisan in Liberia, but you're a Liberty partisan in the
US. Democrat, so you should be our country.
Okay. Okay, but when we get to Kakatan, we'll sit down there and drink the pan when we'll talk the president.
All right.
Okay, Professor Carlo, the time is taking out here. I will still try to connect. I would still try to get Kato to see whether we can arrange a different date, and I'm still going to let you know. You have defended the position, the policies of this government. Do you think that the government of Liberia needs to step out in terms of, because when I talk to people, I was told, like in Mount Gibby, they have only one patrol car. And I know we have limited resources. Do you think it is time for the government to get out there? Because the security of any sovereign nations is paramount. And the police they can't go fight combat crime. I know how the country is still infested with dangerous people. People are not adequately demobilized. People are traumatized. Guns all out there. I can be a policeman and the say there's an armed robbery going on here, and I go thinking I'm not well equipped. I do not have the combat. I do not have a vest, bulletproof jacket, and all of that. And I know somebody will say, "What this guy is talking about here?" But of course, in order to combat crimes, the police should be fully equipped, not just only in Macerado, but in the 15 length and breadth of the political regions of the country. It's not an easy thing, but we must work towards that. Is the government not thinking in that direction?
I think the government is thinking in that direction. The problem we have here, look, our country needs a lot of soul searching to address some of the structural imbalances that we have that is impacting on the government's ability to be able to do the things that it needs to do. Look, for example, look at local government. Go back. My mom is from the Sino Grand Cru area. So I'm also a person with Southeastern blood. So I can take a shot at the Southeastern counties. Do you know how many districts they have in Sino County? Mr. Sewell, you know how many districts they have in Sino County? If you check the number of districts they have in Sino County and match that with the number of people who live in Sino County, and look at the overhead cost of that to government to manage those local government structures, all the districts with all the district commissioners and all the different things, with all those things. Look, we need to begin to look back at our government structure and see whether we can restructure it to reduce spending on areas that we don't necessarily have to spend on, and then transfer the money to other important things. The second thing about it, we need to seriously consider decentralization. That's something I'll recommend to my government.
So see this here. This is coming from our own. He's a journalist.
Yeah.
Young. He works for the local station in Harbour.
Yeah.
In Borough District, Maryland County.
Yeah.
Contains 32 towns.
Yeah.
Only one police officer is assigned there.
That's true.
That is ridiculous.
What's the number of people in those towns? Also, take into consideration the number of people in those towns.
Professor,
yeah.
32 towns.
Yeah.
Let us get out of the blue sky here. It's a wrong calculation.
Yeah.
Let's unify or 10, 15 people in that town.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are taking into consideration. I understand what you're saying. We need to have a formula where we can match number of police officers based on population and all of those things. Those are things that we have to do. But I'm telling you, look, the resources the government's already stretched thin on the resources it has. So it's just almost impossible to manage all the government and do all those things that we're supposed to do. Now,
there's a set priority things that they prioritize as well. Do you know?
Yeah, but there are many things that they prioritize. They got to prioritize education. They got to prioritize infrastructure development. Grand Cru County is seeing housing estate. I think right now I heard they're building something in Sino, even in Grange there.
So where there's lack of security, the security of the country. The pandemic now. The pandemic is not stabilized the way we have effective economy.
Let me finish. Now I'm telling you that we need to address all of those things, and the government is finding a way to address all of those things. Now the citizens in those areas, the local governments in those areas need to find a way to address some of those things. You mentioned Kakata. That's my home. There's absolutely no reason why Kakata should have one patrol car. And they should not be sitting down in Kakata waiting for people to send a car for them from Monrovia. McGibbon County receives social development funds. What does it do with the social development funds? That's a local government issue about not having only one vehicle assigned to the police in Kakata. That's a local government issue. And besides that, do you know how many times the officials of McGibbon County come to the States? How many times they've been coming here? What are they doing during their visits?
So when they come here, what does that suggest? Do you guys give them money?
Well, they need to reach out. Look, our country is poor because of the way we've managed it. Our country.
You say reach out. What are you saying specifically, Professor?
Engage the counterparts, police department across here. Look, I tell you one thing.
Have you introduced them to any of the police that you
come to me and ask me to do that? If they come to me, I will do it. I tell you one thing. If they come to me, I will tell them to do it. I will introduce them to a police to different.
That's Yes, security there. Why should they come to you, Professor? Why not initiate it as a Liberian? You are concerned what is happening. Why?
There are many other areas that I get the same question from Magibi, from Kakatan every day. Just yesterday, I got a call to support the Kakatan City Corporation. I won't be specific to say which department they asked me to support, and I'm going to help them. But one of the things I always tell them, I can't do everything. I've been focusing my work in education, and that's the area that I'm focusing on. Now, but if they come to me, I'll be able to, provide them the connection necessary to engage other people to be able to find those things. Look, you can get youth police cruisers from here and take it back home there. You can get about 4 or 5 of them and take it back home for about $4,000 or $5,000 for all of them combined. All combined.
Are you willing? Liberia Public Radio can help in that direction to create that.
We can all do that together. Yes, we can do that together. So you see, we can't sit down. And then here's another thing. The marketing corporation in those towns, they make money. They barely clean their markets. So where's the money going? How is the city corporation being run? Is the city corporation taking taxes from its people to be able to do more to help the people? Every time I go to Kakata, I meet with officials who come to me or different citizens who come to me with different kind of problems. And I always ask them, what solution do you have for this? What ideas do you have? And it's
all right. We're coming wrap up now. Pa George, go ahead quickly. 2 minutes. I know you've been off and on to wrap it up before we sign off for today. Pa George, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's with your final statement before.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm a Wi-Fi.
Go.
Yeah.
CDC God got you.
No. I was just listening.
All right. You know what? Yeah, let's leave it there. Okay, Professor, to make your final comment. I will do everything possible to bring Director Carter back here.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to talk to the Minister of Justice to see here. My concern here is that there's a bigger picture ahead, the senatorial election. What is the capacity in terms of the logistic and necessary things needed to keep the police equipped? Unfortunately, I'm not taking no call. I'm out of time here. Get the police to contain in the event there's some sort of civil disobedience. Those are the things that I have interest in.
The police is well prepared and ready to protect the integrity of the electoral process. We do understand that there are certain defeatist candidates, already the defeatist mindsets that have already been harboring the desire to disrupt the electoral process. And I can assure you that that wouldn't happen. The CDC is marching to December 8th to establish a blue country, not blue wall. You got a blue wall in the United States, right? A blue country. We're going to go 15 for 15. We're going to stamp our authority over the people. The people of Liberia are going to reaffirm their mandate in President Weah. And President Weah developmental objectives will get a jump start come January.
Finally,
yeah.
What would be the political future or that we can forecast if CDC for the second time, a place that I consider Moserado to be the stronghold for Hajud in those days in Somalia, where they say this is our stronghold, Baju and all of those places. What happens when Senator Darius Dillon of the opposition pull it off from CDC in Moserado? What does that tell you?
That's not even going to happen. The Bassa Belt, the Moserado, Magibi, Moserado, Magibi, Riverses, and Grand Bassa County will be solid blue. Solid blue.
All right.
Well, the strongest component of our blue wall.
We'll see what I wish that we have the ability to also get extra polls, but people don't even vote on each.
Darius Dillon is a lame dog senator.
Okay.
These are winding down.
All right. Okay, Professor Ase says it's always good to have you here. I want to thank you so much. But as soon as I get that, I will check in with Director Carter again to see what happens, and definitely I want us to be part of that conversation. Thank you so much for always providing your expertise on this.
No problem.
Have a beautiful Sunday, my dear brother.
Thank you very much, man. Always.
Okay. Okay, well, folks, that does it this afternoon. I'm Afonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. I want to thank you so much for being part of today's program. It's 3:19. Time has caught up with me here, and that's how we're going to leave it here. And this is the song that takes over.
Hey, I'm the friend, Jehovah. Come the worship, Jehovah. It is of the prison. Come the prison. It is of everything. Oh, the worshiping. Oh, he gave me life. I will praise his name. I'm here to praise my God, oh, because he gave me life. Come celebrate. Come jubilate. Come the worshiping. He deserves the praise. Hallelujah. Giving the higher 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 praise. Ooh, hallelujah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.